All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, Quinn Snyder just wrapped up his sixth year as the head coach of the Utah Jazz. And even though that each of those seasons have seen the Jazz reach the playoffs, the springtime results remain the same. In those six trips to the playoffs, the Jazz have never made it to the Western Conference Finals while they've been shown the door in the first round in three of the last 4 years. The Jazz's style on offense is very predictable as they rely too much on the outside shot. And in a postseason where defensive basketball runs the show for the most part, all of that jump shooting for Utah does not amount to a hill of beans. Now, this past regular season, only the Minnesota Timberwolves attempted more 3-point shots per game than the Jazz. As, like I said before, they are simply relying on that outside shot too much, especially during the regular season. If they're taking 40 shots from deep per game, but they're only hitting 14, is it really worth it? Now, Donovan Mitchell at point guard is a solid scorer, but he's only a point guard by title. He does not make the players around him better. And for my money, you know, he takes too many shots, and especially when you look at it, Donovan Mitchell during the regular season for the Jazz, he attempted more than 20 shots per game on average. Next closest guy was Jordan Clarkson with 14. And, the Jazz, when they finished with with the best record in the league last year, they relied a lot on ball movement. We didn't see that as much this year. More ISO ball, and ISO ball is only going to get you so far. It's pretty and it's going to win games in the regular season, but it's not going to lead to championships. Also, you think about this team. The injury to Joe Ingles, the ACL injury, and then subsequently his trade to the Portland Trailblazers, that impacted this offense as well. But there's a lot of other factors on this team. You look at the limitations of Rudy Gobert when he's on the floor. Tremendous shot blocker, tremendous rebounder at 7'3", but he has a very limited scoring skill set on offense. And we've seen it for the past couple of years in those late game situations. The Jazz will take him out of the game. And even defensively, as good as Gobert is close to the basket, if he is, sent away from the basket, having to defend somebody on the perimeter, he is only a shell of himself defensively. And again, that's another limitation and that's another liability for this Jazz team. And with that said, I said it when the Jazz did it. They made a big mistake back in December 2020 when they gave Gobert that 5-year extension for $205 million, because you're going to look at it right now. Gobert is the highest paid player on the Jazz. He made more than 35 million this past season. He's going to make more than 38 next season, and he's under contract through 2026. And why are you going to give that kind of money to a shot blocker and a rebounder? I mean, at the end of the day, as good as Gobert is at what he does great, you don't hear a lot of Jazz opponents going into games saying, you know what, in order for us to win, we got to stop Rudy Gobert, especially at the scoring end, because he is, for the most part, a non factor. You look at it, for me, first and foremost, the Jazz missed their opportunity to win this game in the first two contests because Dallas did not have the services of Luka Doncic as he was recovering from the calf injury. Utah was able to go on the road. They got the first game. Dallas rallied for game two. And then before you knew it, Luka Doncic did return for game three. And of course, when Doncic returned, the tenor of this series changed because obviously Doncic, we all knew this. If healthy, Doncic was going to be the best player on the court for either team. And as the series progressed, we saw that more and more. But getting back to the Utah Jazz, something has to change for this team because they're relying too much on the perimeter, and the bottom line is it's not working. I know that Danny Ainge came in as a team CEO recently, a new team president rather. Is he going to, try to find a way to implement, his philosophies on his team? We'll have to wait and see. But the bottom line is, you know, your two top paid players are like they have limitations to what they can do. And I'm talking about Donovan Mitchell and I'm talking about Rudy Gobert. More Gobert than Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell can score, but the bottom line is what good is it to have somebody score 25 points per game if they need to take 20 to 25 shots just to get those 25 points? Again, these things really show up in postseason competition, which we're seeing right now. That contract from the Jazz for Rudy Gobert, I think, is already hindering them going forward, because good luck trying to move that deal, because nobody is going to pay basically max money to a guy who can only block shots and get rebounds. It ain't gonna happen. The Jazz overplayed their hand in doing that. They handicapped themselves going forward, and right now they're stuck with this situation. So Utah will continue to be good enough to make the postseason, but when it comes to making the postseason and advancing, it's two different things. The Jazz still have not figured that out, and that is a big reason why they will be watching the remainder of the NBA playoffs from home. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.